Hello, Vix. Hello, Scarlet. I'm doing good. How about you? I am eating, and I'm eating earlier than usual for once. Because I woke up hungry. These quests are so long. The Fei Shao one took me like 5 hours. This Rappa one I think is even longer. Um, Probably Natasha. I got lucky. No. On the current event, there is a 4-star selector with Tingyan. So if you can quest fast enough to do that event, I think you only need to finish Bellabog, and then you can skip to the event. So you use Tingyan on the 4-star selector. I'd select Himeko, or try to get Himeko in the first 50 standard pulls. Because Himeko is better than like any other 4-star DPS that you're gonna have until what's it called? You get like March 7th. Like March 7th, yeah, March 7th is like the first actually decent free 4-star DPS that you get. However, if you're not just trying to save Jades like I am, I just buy the Herda. Like it would have saved me so much fucking time in fights if I just pulled Herda. The reason I don't pull her is because I'm saving for Castris, but yeah, people don't have to follow the same thing as me. But yeah, I've been pretty much for the entirety of the game, I've been using Himeko, Small Herda, Gallagher, and Tingyan. So, yeah. I did not choose Bronya because I'm getting Tribby and Sunday back to back. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there isn't really a need for me to really go that hard on Bronya. I'll just hope I lose a 50-50 or... No, I take that back. I'll hope the next, time I hit soft pity on the standard banner, I, get her. Or her Lycone. I'd take either one, actually. What's up, Buff? Let me get another bite. I should have heated it up more. Mm-hmm. This quest is long. It's not 6 or 7. It's like 3 or 4 when you're skipping everything. No, Kuno. After this, I have one main side quest left, which is, I think, Bellabog Topaz. And then there's 3 purple quests. And then after these, I'm pretty much done. Like, there are some, like, decent quests here and there, but they aren't anywhere near as important as the purple and orange ones. I don't like the banana quest. Like 90% of the player base doesn't like it. Even the first time I did this, and I wasn't on social media at all, so my opinion wasn't swayed. I thought this was genuinely like the worst quest of all time before Emphorius released. I think I actually made a video on it. Whoops. Is your face shell still bugged? No. I already pinned a comment in my video yesterday that RMC's true damage apparently was bugging the boss. "20 points away from clearing APOC 4. My Acheron and Firefly are barely cutting it." Damn. You pull Tribby in this account? Yeah. Pulling on both. Quest confirms all organic species in HSR verse came from humans. I mean, that isn't that crazy. I mean, if they have spaceships that can, like, literally just go forward, like, probably light years instantly, then they're probably technologically advanced enough to do some shit like that. How the hell did you finish the story in 3 days? Bellabog took me like 3 or 4 hours. Zhengzhou Lofu took me maybe 8. The first 2 patches of Panagoni took me, I think, 5. 2.2 alone took me around like 7 hours. 2.3 was incredibly quick, like probably an hour or two. And after that, it skips all the way to Amphorius. And I finished Amphorius in like 6 hours, probably 5-6 hours. I was cutting into my sleep to do this, by the way. I've been running on like 2 or 3 hours sleeps for the past 3 days. I finally got like decent actual sleep today. I think I slept like 8 or 9 hours. Yeah, devs. Well, yeah, the reason I'm speeding is because Divergent Universe is getting reset. I need to get 100 levels in Divergent Universe. Otherwise, I'm missing out on thousands of jades. I'm also wasting my Trailblaze power by not leveling up sooner, so there's that as well. The sooner I finish this, the sooner I can use my Trailblaze power on like relic domains or traces and all that. Because you get a lot more Trailblaze power for the higher levels of calyxes and domains, which I would be missing out on and wasting on like level 1, level 2 calyxes, which is a waste. So how's the sleep schedule going? Pretty fucked. Pretty fucked. I mean, I'm happy because I finally got my first real sleep for once, but I'm not exactly waking up at the most optimal time. I've never had a pizza this tough in my life. You get banned for using auto clickers. You don't like Aglaia at all? When did I say that? I like Aglaia design-wise. She just has one of the least free-to-play friendly / low spender teams in the entirety of the game. And her performance for her best in slot team, although it's good now, is gonna end up falling off. So I have no interest in someone who is that bad. Like, I've seen some content creators who don't watch leaks over exaggerate how bad she is. Like, they're talking as if now she's weak. Right now, she's fine in her best in slot team. But you need Sunday plus Woho usually to really make her shine. And both of those teammates go to any of the upcoming HP scalers. So she's the first Remembrance DPS. Probably gonna get the least best in slot teammate support in the future. I could give less of a shit. It's just a bad pull. Anyone who's pulling your Galea is pulling her because they simply like her. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But that's not how I do things over here. The character has to be good and I have to like them at the same time. Aglaea's damage isn't bad. She does the most damage in an E0S1 sustain team best in slot compared to even my day. Because she takes significantly more turns than the rest of them. You can get 6 turns in one cycle with Aglaea. And with her best in slot team, it's significantly, like, it's more than that. Because the ult gives 100% action advance. This is why she's the strongest in her best in slot team. If you're able to regenerate enough energy, like consistent enough, ult is 100% action advance outside of these 6 free turns. And you also have action advance from Sunday on top of that. So that's why her damage is low, but she takes like double to triple the turns of most DPSs. Like, even compared to my day is worse at like E0S1 compared to an Aglaea best in slot team currently. I'm not actually sure whether or not Herda is stronger with Tribi. Like, I don't know. But I know Aglaea, like all the leakers, like the leakers who actually know what they're talking about, they say that my day is just straight up worse than Aglaea. Are we shit talking Aglaea? No, actually the opposite. I'm explaining the reason I wouldn't pull for her, but that she is still like currently the strongest DPS with a sustain. I'm just saying the reason I'm not pulling for her is because I don't think she's gonna get best in slot future teammate supports, and I'd much prefer casters. Yeah, I'd recommend Sunday over both Aglaea and casters, since there's like a million different DPSs in this game that can use a Sunday. However, if possible, casters plus Sunday would probably be the best. Her E1 is better, Mohammed. She has the most broken E1 in the game, while her light cone is like meh. All it does is make her do a little more damage. It makes her teammates do a little more damage. And she spams ult more often. That's basically it. Like, it's literally just crit damage buff plus better energy regen. The EU one is significantly more broken. For anyone who has it, you can also just use S5 DDD. It doesn't need to be S5, but S5 is the best case scenario. That's like her next best Lycone after signature. You have the true damage buffs. You have 24% action advance on ults. You have 24% res pen. You have 30% damage vulnerability. You have her attacks. Probably never, Vlad. You sound tired or sick? I'm just tired, not sick. Although I do have a bit of a stuffy nose. But that's just for leaving my window open when it's like minus something outside.
Absolutely brilliant! Such a brilliant film. It'd be a shame for it to end now. Alright, cast, get ready to switch scenes!
Just what do you think you're doing, Memo Keeper?
Which quest is this? I didn't even do this. 2.6 Pentagony quest for Rappa.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Becker. Until you...
That's not our deal. I went to great lengths to help you infiltrate the school, disrupted the family. We're talking exceptional talents that are incredibly rare to come by.
I already did the 2.5 Facial one, so now I'm doing the 2.6 Rappa one. And then next, I think I have to do the old Topaz one.
No room for negotiation. I have no need to negotiate. If you don't acquiesce, then in less than 3 system hours, you'll turn into a slumber...
Yeah, Corvo.
No, I refuse.
Like, the HP inflation now is significantly worse than it was at the beginning of the game. Like, there are some characters who have stood the test of time, like Jing Yuan, because I'm gonna be honest, he just got lucky. He got lucky with Sunday, that's basically it. But outside of characters like that, a lot of 1.x DPSs at like E0S0 and E0S1 are not holding up too well these days. Like, they are not holding up all that well. Unless you have like high cost and supports. I mean, in the current MOC, it is slightly easier for older DPSs because of the trotters, but outside of that, not really. There will not be any trotters in the next MOC, or the one after. I'm not pulling my day. It's a waste of pulls. Should I skip all side quests or go ahead and do them as they come? Only do the important ones. The ones that give a good amount of like Trailblaze XP and Jades. Only ones worth doing. Like these orange ones, the orange quests, they unlock entirely new areas. So you can also get like chests and shit from here, and like puzzles and like way more Jades. But after you finish the orange and purple quests, as well as the yellow ones, there isn't really much to do. Like you could do these two because they give some Jades, I guess. Yeah, but there isn't that many. There really isn't that many. And then once you finish most of those quests, I give a shit ton of Trailblaze XP. You go here, And then this is what I'm gonna do, by the way. When I finish all my quests, I have to do every single one of these events over here. After that, it's Divergent Universe and Simulated Universe. Hey bro, going to sleep. Have fun speedrunning. Good night, Blad. Thanks for stopping by. No problem, Jameson. I mean, yeah, Celestial. I mean, I don't think, okay, I don't think anything or anyone in this game is a must pull. And especially not Eidolons, because a lot of free-to-play / low spenders will probably get unlucky even if they have a good amount of pulls to go for E1 Triby. But I do think Triby is the new best, like, universal harmony in the game. I genuinely think that. She is basically the next most universal harmony outside of Ruan Mei, because her buffs also apply to Break, I'm pretty sure. Although, obviously, you'd rather run HMC and Fugue. However, with the E1, I think she's the strongest E1 harmony in the entirety of the game. Like, without a doubt. If you're going against, like, 2 or more mobs on field, it is the best E1 probably ever. And because she's a team buffer and not like a hyper carry buffer, she also has more value than like a lot of the hyper carry buffers. Like, I'd say Triby's value currently is probably at easy. Yeah, it's better than Sunday. I'm not gonna lie, E1 Triby is basically the equivalent of like E0 S1 Sunday. Like, Sunday becomes an entirely new harmony when you get his Lycone. It's basically the same shit with Triby. Like, she goes up like an entire tier or two if you grab her Eidolon. One gets way better performance with the Lycone, the other one with an Eidolon. Why did they make the new mandatory support a child? I mean, I don't know. I feel like this has always been the case with harmonies. Especially at least when they first released. Like, every single new harmony on release has been pretty much a must pull. Sparkle was a must pull. She was best in slot for E2 Acheron. She was best in slot for Dale. She was best in slot for a lot of hyper carries. Ruan Mei was a must pull because she was the first limited harmony. 2.2, I think we got Robin. And Robin ended up being a must pull because of her action advance. Then we got later down the line Sunday. Sunday's a must pull because he is pretty much for the remembrance meta. Like, every single limited harmony has been basically a must pull on release. Sparkle probably lasted the shortest as like a must pull, but still was a must pull at one point because she was the second limited harmony in the game. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't have an issue with her design though, so me personally, it doesn't bother me. I actually think Triby has like some of the best animations in the entirety of the game. Like, it's genuinely like refreshing seeing an ult that's just kind of like goofy and not like serious or like incredibly like flashy lights. Isn't Chibi like the third child character model? Yeah, I think so. I think Hook and Bailu are the first two, but Chibi's the first limited character who uses the model. So people are bothered by that, I guess. Where? Oh, fuck. I can't use Harmony MC right now. Okay, never mind, never mind. I forgot you can't switch it out like that. Wasn't the first Annie Acheron? Yes. Uh, I don't think HSR's anniversary was bad. It's actually probably like the best patch this game has ever had. 2.0/2.1 Penacony? Like, that's genuinely like the only time I was even semi-interested in the story. Shit, I should have used it on this guy for the trick shot. I completely forgot how Boo Hill works. Probably because I've never played him before, but... How, I wonder if the taunt lasts longer. A lot of people had yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was never gonna happen, man. Like, people got spoiled with the free doctor ratio when the game wasn't even 1 year old yet. So giving a limited character wasn't all that serious. And they won like literally every single award possible. Like, the chances of them genuinely having done that again were like incredibly low. Yeah, that's understandable, Celestial. What is your top 3 harmonies in order? If we include leaks, I don't know. I don't want to do that. I feel like especially the recent harmonies, they get so much stronger with a Lycone or an Enelon. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Robin at E0S0 isn't that good. Like, she's good, right? She was good for a long time. But E0S0 Robin has some serious ult downtime. Unless you get really lucky with, like, Quid Pro Quo on your Gallagher. And every single time he takes a turn, the energy goes into Robin. E0S0 Robin, outside of her ult, is literally, like, useless. Tribby has better overall uptime at E0S0. And because of the AoE meta and the fact that she works even with non-attack scaling characters, I think she does have higher value than Robin. And Sunday E0S0 is currently the best hyper carry buffer in the first place. And because currently like new hyper carry DPSs is like the meta who don't want attack scaling, I think currently it's number 1 Sunday, number 2 Tribby, number 3 Robin. Or actually, okay, this might actually no. Okay. So in my defense, I think Ruan Mei lost some value on the break team because of Fugue. A lot of people, especially in sustain teams, will run HMC plus Fugue instead of HMC plus Mei. Because HMC plus Fugue, although it takes longer to get through the break bar, you do significantly more damage. But Ruan Mei, I don't know. Like, the third spot is between Ruan Mei and Robin. I can't really say. I think currently Ruan Mei has better value for the break teams. But, like, outside of the break teams, her value is pretty bad. While the value Robin gives outside the break teams is genuinely good. And Aglaia has her as, like, a second best in slot outside of Sunday. So, it's really hard for me to compare here. But the number 3 spot is contentious between Ruan Mei and Robin for me. If we go into E1s, Robin is stronger than Ruan Mei because of the res pen. If we use Lycones, 100% Sunday still number 1. And then if we go to E1 Tribby, then that's stronger than Robin. And probably Sunday as well. What would you prioritize for the new meta? Tribby E1 or Sunday S1? Tribby E1. Because Tribby's a team buffer while Sunday's a hyper carry buffer. So duo DPS teams or more will always benefit more from a Tribby with her team buffs than they would from a Sunday. Right? This is why the Herda, like when Tribby comes out, the Herda usually wants Jade or probably a Noxon 3.2 on her team to make it like a duo DPS comp that can take full advantage of Tribby, right? Team buffers always have more value in this game because they can be put in pretty much any team. And if we're all being honest with like how Honkai Star Rail likes to do things, at some point down the line, we will probably go back to teams where like duo DPS is the wave, right? Like let's say like the follow-up comp where Fei Xiao, although she's the main DPS, isn't the only DPS, right? Or Herda, once again Herda, Tribby does damage, and on top of that, Anoxa is probably gonna do damage as well. And then Ling Sha with Tribby's buffs can also actually do some little bit of damage here and there, right? The thing is, person, having a Bronya Lycone is genuinely rarer than having a signature Lycone. Like, there's like 10 different things that you can get from either losing a 50-50 or the standard banner. To where, like, the chances of most people having a Bronya Lycone is actually, like, really low. Like, on my main account, I don't have a Bronya Lycone. I straight up just don't have it. Also, Tribby, like if we're counting like things like Bronya Lycone and all that stuff, DDD makes it's like Tribby's best free to play like Lycone, and that shit is broken. Like, it is really, really broken. I think I'm the same, Kunal. I think my main account's Bronya is E1 or E2 with no Lycone. HMC is now replacing Ruan Mei. This is coming from an E2 Firefly user. The weakness delay is too important. I don't know. I really don't think the difference is all that big. Like, maybe I'm just blind from, like, the videos I've seen. But I have seen HMC plus Fugue perform damn near the same as Ruan Mei plus Fugue. Like, especially in, like, Firefly teams and all that. Like, in Boot Hill teams, Ruan Mei is 100% better. Like, a Ruan Mei Fugue team is 100% better for Boot Hill. But I feel like I've seen HMC plus Fugue still zero cycle most content in this game.
Yes, of course. Neither of those. There's a lot of things. It doesn't matter. Misery? Come on, Nook. It's hard to believe. There's a good-hearted. I see. I suppose you're perfectly in the name of Dr.
I don't want Sunday to be power crept. He's not going to be power crept, man. The only way he'd be power crept is like a hyper carry true damage support that's limited. And they probably won't do that until like later on in the version 3.
But now, there ain't no problem. It's only an evildoer asks why. I ain't deaf. It's as Nick said. Revenge needs no excuses. Just like how there's one thing in the world that doesn't need to be taught. Taking a shot. How did things take even for someone? Is that so? Be it a wanted criminal with the blood of many on their hands, or a young cowboy who's never fought.
Longer the battle, the more Ruan Mei shows her importance. Yeah, but the issue is, like, I'm assuming best in slot teams with obviously like maxed out traces and like slightly above average relics. Because average relics in this game is pretty ass, but like slightly above average is usually where you'd want to have your characters. And I'm going to be honest, the only current break DPS that is struggling in Endgame is Boot Hill. Because of the Trotters. Like, that's the only one I see a lot of people struggling on. Unless, right? Unless they have immensely high speed values on the supports plus Boot Hill. That's the only time I've seen Boot Hill hit like a 0 or 1 cycle. Let me do this. Keep in mind, Boot Hill could 0 cycle endgame, like literally last MOC. I'm not even exaggerating. Last MOC, he did not need that much investment or like etalons or like that high of like speed thresholds to 0 cycles far out. Literally just the last MOC, he needed like half the cost compared to what he needs currently. No, I don't think Robin has high pull value. Unless you're just trying to make an older team stronger. I'm not gonna lie, this is literally just a Sparkle situation all over again. Where Sparkle's value was completely carried by older DPSs. Because older DPSs could obviously use the new best harmony for them. However, later down the line, Robin ended up being a lot better for the newer DPSs that were coming out. And obviously, you'd use like a Sparkle Robin combo back then, but basically, characters who are more targeted towards the future meta are usually a lot higher value than characters who are targeted towards the older meta, because older DPSs aren't going to get any stronger, and those Harmony's best in slot teams aren't going to be with the older DPSs. It's basically just that simple.
That's another good thing. You're referring to
Would Facial benefit from Tribi too? Yes. If you don't have a Robin, Tribi is best in slot outside of Robin, and in sustainless teams, people are running Tribi plus Robin. Now, Robin's value isn't only for Facial. Robin has good value still because of Aglaya. Aglaya's 2 best in slot supports, it isn't all that much crazier than RMC. Keep in mind, like, the difference between Robin and RMC on an Aglaya team isn't significant in the slightest. However, I do think she slightly edges RMC out. So, Robin Sunday combo is the best possible combo for an Aglaya, I believe.
That's right, fellow members. Everything that's about to happen next isn't the end. Or with Dream Flux,
But after this, none of the HP scaling DPSs can use attack scaling. And Herda, who even can still use attack scaling, is going to much prefer Tribi. So this is like the issue, right? Once Tribi releases, a lot of teams that would have used Robin before will now use Tribi.
But no, it's not enough. There's nothing we can do.
where you go, sabbatical?
There we go. I've seen many people run Bronya on Sunday as well, but only for Bronya to advance Sunday. Bronya on an Aglaya team is really bad if you do not have Sunday's Light Cone. Because Sunday without the Light Cone is SP neutral. Woho is incredibly SP negative. And then Bronya is as well SP negative. So you're going to have trouble with skill points without Sunday's Light Cone on that team.
My pleasure to make
Ninja hero,
trial.
fight, pray tell.
Oh, my greetings.
10
With that,
make no haste.
no. For your low.
I see. This talent would do well in special effect films. We have quite some fascinating actors today. One from... And you. Please, let me...
I mean, even then, E2 Bronya is still like skill point negative. Like, you're not making it up at all. Like, you're still negative skill points, even with like an E2 Bronya. Still skill point negative. Woho is literally completely skill point negative. Like, every turn she takes, she's using her skill. Sunday's SP neutral. And then the only one on the team basic attacking is Aglaya. But because of her ult. But Aglaya in her ult Like when she basic attacks for like her enhanced basic attack, it doesn't generate a skill point, I'm pretty sure. So you have 2 SP neutral and 2 incredibly SP negative.
Words you speak.
Well, this seems to be the since Penaconi's dreams are rooted in the desires of the masses, the mimetic corruption has had an irreversible impact on the dream.
That Sunday Lycode is practically a necessity in that type of team.
Praise wasn't the beginning of things, rather terrible the end. From that point onward, the moment of Slumber Nana was fated to be
Not the monkey quest? Yeah. It is what it is.
What differentiates this from other mimetic viruses is the period and extent of its influence. Is that right?
I'm impressed.
Somebody has a 2-cost 0 cycle this MOC with a Glea Sunday Branya. Builds worth nothing crazy. Yeah, but like, I'm pretty sure you could do the exact same for Herda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, either way, there's still gonna be skill point issues.
How do we accomplish this, you ask? We'll have to introduce. Prof. Nana Prima, I'm extremely. When I made the connect, this is but another.
As stated in the what you said is that memory.
Well. As the third act of and for the sake of mimetic virus. Go on.
The vernacular of my mind is getting clearer now. I have to move quickly.
Baseball bat ninja.
Also, wait, like 0 cycle 2 cost. Is that possible without like 160 plus speed win sets or DDD? I finished the main story, not the side story from a lot of patches. So I have to do the rapid quest, which I'm doing currently. And then after this I have a Topaz quest.
At this juncture.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't find a single video of a Glea 0 cycling at 2 cost. Like, I'm currently searching it up,
Past version of her?
and there isn't a single one. Maybe this one? But this is E0S1 Aglaya in a best in slot team. This is like 6 cost.
Opening hatch. That's all there is to Osamu Seal. Even while my senses are dulled by sorcery.
Yeah, I don't think there is a 2 cost 0 cycle.
How detestable and deplorable indeed.
I am now the self that Rappa remembers in her memories. So this is the ninja capital.
I can't find it.
Completely different from what I imagined.
That should be the end of my trial. Time to return to Master and resume my...
I mean, it's just preference, Kunal. At the end of the day, it's just preference. I don't find it that crazy that people think like one of the characters in this game is the hottest. Not that I agree though.
Salutations, Master Kuja. Thank you, Master.
Behold, the soulless inherit.
I will name is AKA3.
I don't know. So the decision is
In that case,
as you would.
certainly.
Yeah, like there are some sustainless Aglaya clumps, but these are not 2 cost at all. It's like E0S1 Aglaya plus Robin plus Sunday, and they probably have their Lycones as well. Almost every single showcase is at least like 4 cost or higher. And against the Nikador boss, I'm pretty sure Herda can do it at lower cost, and that Nikador boss is very shilled for Aglaya. Like, more so than Herda. Like, it's a complete Aglaya shill.
Is this excruciating pain what Rappa is?
Having persevered through an This is Umbra. She uses the
Number 3.
Yes. Put it on.
I seen one with her E0S0, but E2 Branya. I mean, that's fine. But I literally cannot find it myself. Like, I search up 2 cost 0 cycle Aglaya. Everything is like 4 cost or higher. At the minimum. Most are 6 cost.
Someone else take this one? Nice job!
Time for an over.
You can't put links in a stream bullets. YouTube just automatically gets rid of it. It's from Narwhalsea. Speed Demon 1 day ago. Let me see. So it's Aglaya plus Sunday. Does this person ever go over the builds? They do towards the end of the video. Let's see. Yeah, S5 DDD. As I thought. The culprit's there. Is it S5 or is it S1? Oh no, I think it is S1 DDD. So it's not S5. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah, this is a good run. E0S0 Aglaya 2 cost with a DDD. What were the relics again? I just want to look at Sundays. I think Aglayas are fine. Yeah, Sunday's fine as well. 150 speed plus 200 crit damage. Yeah. Oh, RMC is the one with 160 plus Eagle? I mean, I think... Okay, I agree. One set of 160 plus Eagle is pretty unrealistic. However, only one set, I think, is fine. I think it's fine.
Perhaps you still don't understand.
Like, it's not like some of other gameplays I've seen where, like, they're trying to do Sparkle propaganda by giving both either Sunday or RMC 2 160 plus speed win sets. Like, that's when it actually gets bad. Pretty impressive, yeah. Oh, S1 and S3 DDD. Ooh, okay. Yeah. The thing is, though, I think Sustainless plus win set and DDD, the same as that. I remember there being a Herda 1 cost. I think of Svarog. Either 1 or 2 cost as well. But the difference is that Herta doesn't have the element, while Aglaia has the lightning bonus. But yeah, Aglaia performs pretty well. To be honest, I haven't been seeing that many Herta sustainless runs these days. Like, it's probably because she's actually officially released now. But not many Herta zero cycle sustainless runs I've seen on YouTube lately. People kind of just forgot about her when she got officially released.
Master Kucha,
Use a mimetic virus on number 3. How could that help the experiment?
I can clearly hear everything they're saying. Is my superhero
Yeah. I know Herta one cost the Legion, yeah. The Legion is very cheese, though. That's why I don't like counting it. Like, I think Svarog is fine to compare, like, Aglaia and Herta. Because there's actually, like, no cheese there. I mean, there are the Trotters. But I think Aglaia kills the Trotters anyways as well. So, it doesn't really matter in the end. Oh, the new boss zero cycle, E0 Tribute plus E0 Herta. Oh, that's good. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, I think I've seen it. I think I've seen that one, Bullets. I'm pretty sure they use DDD on Tribi.
Since we're on it, the what now?
In order to protect a manga.
Now, you better be careful. That's especially true. You'll never get the doctor to
Yeah, DDD Tribi. Yeah, I've watched it. What does cost even mean? Like, I know cycle. Cost is anything that's limited. So whether it be a limited light cone or one limited Eidolon / character, that counts as one cost. So E2S1 is, I believe, 4 cost. Like, E1 is 2 cost. E0S1 is as well 2 cost. That's how it goes. Anything limited counts as 1 cost.
to all who are present today. Wise attendee, in order to save, do not be concerned. People should make use of their talents to the fullest.
I'm saving for Sunday in Castris. Same, man. I'm hoping I get lucky with my E1 Tribi pulls, because otherwise I might be royally fucked for getting Sunday in his light cone. Like, I really want to get Castris on this account. So, I don't mind losing 150-50. But I don't want to lose 2 in a row. If I lose 2 in a row and go soft pity every single time, that's gonna put me down nearly all my pulls, which is like 300 plus. Like, that is basically the worst case scenario. I wouldn't exactly regret it, because E1 Tribi is probably the strongest E1 Harmony in the game, but it'll make getting Castris and Sunday a lot more difficult for me.
Umbra had mistress and master.
Why are you going for Tribi in this account? Because E1 Tribi is the most broken E1 Harmony in the game. And I think Castris will at minimum be Blast. Could be AoE like Acheron's ult. Which would mean that Tribi's value at E1 would go significantly above RMC's. For, what's it called? Casters. 30% vulnerability, plus 24% respen, plus the true damage from the E1, plus, like, I might do, like, 1 or 2 10 pulls to try and get 1 copy of DDD for me to use on my Tribi. Because I don't think I'm going to pull her signature.
What should I pick? Yes.
Her signature doesn't really matter all that much, I feel like.
This is where the Matrix core is. According to Master, dazzling ninjutsu can override the evil ninja's matrix. Channel the mantra into the colorful brilliance, then paint it over the existing mantra on the Matrix core. What wondrous ninja tech.
Imagine if Castris is single target. I don't think so. Like, not at all. If you go back and you watch the official like Hoyo teaser of Castris's animations, I feel like she is AoE, because if you look at like the FOV and the size of the blast that the dragon does, it looks like it's supposed to fit every single enemy on field. Now, they did only showcase like the Castris animation against, I think, the Legion boss. However, I do think that because of that like hella increased FOV, it's supposed to be a blast that hits everyone on field. That's been my assumption for like a little bit now. Actually, I can probably just show you guys on here. Give me a second. Yeah, single target sucks. Yeah. 1 second. Alright, you guys can see, right? I can't find the official one, but maybe this should be fine. Here. Look at the FOV. Look at the increased FOV here and how much it's like zoomed out. Like the Legion boss literally looks like an ant. So this is why I think she's going to be AoE. Is because this, look at the size of the blast. Look at the size of the blast versus the actual boss. So that's why I think she's going to end up being AoE. Yeah, that's not all the animations for Castris according to leakers. That's only one part of multiple animations apparently.
I have something for you. Perhaps you skin anyone that conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
I'm trying to follow Bob polling plan, but now I'm not sure about Robin, and I even got Link Shaw due to EO recommendation. I don't even think Bob is going for Robin, no? Like Mr. Pokey? Every time I go in his stream, he's like trying to justify not polling for Robin. Like every single time. Isn't he the biggest Bubbin shill? I mean, he is, but that's because he has a main account with a bunch of DPSs that can already take advantage of Robin. Like, if you just make a new account like he did with Bob, I'm not gonna lie, Robin's value is significantly lower than Tribby, who's literally the next patch. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Pokey 100% looks at leaks. He just doesn't talk about them. So he should be fully aware of, like, how Tribby's performing currently. And like where the future meta is headed, he can probably tell Robin isn't that needed. Yeah, Linkshaw is a fine pull. I myself recommended Linkshaw as the #1 pull for 3.0. That doesn't mean she's the #1 pull in the game, but it just means that her value is the highest out of all the banners in 3.0 in my opinion. You can literally use her to completely clear Pure Fiction on one side. You can use her to break APOC toughness bars like twice as fast. And then in MOC, she's basically like slightly worse than Aventurine in my opinion. Unless you have a break team. If you have a break team, she's 100% better than Aventurine. Please don't kill my Himeko. Huge. No, exactly, Bullets. Like, Bullets, I literally called this, like, I think like a month ago, maybe less, when I was making my videos on power creep and who it didn't and did affect. And, like, one of the main points I brought up was that people who made free-to-play accounts for content to prove free-to-play is wrong. Like, this argument doesn't work at all, because as a new player, you can instantly get a new comp. Like, when you finish the story, you finish, like, the beginning tutorials of the endgame, like Pure Fiction and MOC, you legit have, like, 300 to 400 pulls. So, within 1 to 2 months, you can literally have 2 new comps and instantly clear the endgame. Like, power creep does not affect a new player. That's why I'm so, like, happy. Like, I literally cannot clear endgame on this account. I have half of the shit, like, gated from my equilibrium level. But I'm happy because I know I'm going to instantly get a comp within, like, 3.2. Like, once 3.2 hits, I will have E1 Tribby, Sunday, and Casterus. Like, that is going to be probably the most, like, meta team in the entirety of the game. I can then put, like, RMC on my second team, or I could run, like, Super Break March 7th, and they can take, like, fucking 9 cycles. It doesn't matter, because my Caster's team is going to one-cycle everything.
Pleasure to meet you. Who might you be?
Galaxy Ranger, I received a distress signal. This place really
Exactly,
is the territory
Bullets,
of Dr.
exactly.
Primitive's henchmen. It's as hard to find
New
as those
players always have a
bananas
better
hidden in the woods.
experience. Always.
Ninja hero.
They need to hook you in first, and then after that, they don't give a shit whether you stay or go. If you stay, best
Trial?
possible scenario.
What kind of
If you go, you're
another
probably
poor
gonna
kid
try
driven mad by
ZZZ.
those
So,
monks.
you just go from one Hoyo game to the
Final
next.
trial of the Mako H. Destroy the matrix of Osaru's house. And end the catastrophe. Pray tell, have I proven myself?
Casterus does
worthy
not
of the
want
title of
HP
Ninja
draining
Hero?
teammates. She drains
No way.
teammates'
So
HP,
that's why all those
according to
in the lab
leakers.
are lying dead on the ground? Was it all your doing?
10 years of suffering. 1 day of recognition. I have not let down dazzling ninjutsu. Master Kucha, I really wish you could witness this.
Yeah, it literally makes sense for Casterus
it
to
now.
drain teammates'
This girl's
HP.
infected with a
Because
mimetic
if you go
virus.
even like semi close
Most
to
people would
her,
turn into complete
like according to the
by
story,
now, but
like
she's
you
still running
basically
around like
almost
nothing's
die.
wrong. Please
And if
listen
you
to
touch
me.
her,
You're
you
in
will die,
serious
basically.
danger right now. If
So
you
it
don't
makes
get
sense for her
treated
to have
soon,
team
your brain
HP
will
drain.
eventually burst.
Since I am now a ninja hero who can contend with you.
Casterus wants Jingliu confirmed. Oh my goodness. Jingliu meta.
You're asking me this now.
I've been wondering
Do you
why don't
have a
you
death
stream on
wish?
Twitch? Because I can't
You wanna
read
go
2
on a
chats
hunt?
at the same time.
Know that
I don't
this
have
is
a second
road of
monitor,
no
so I can't
return.
combine both chats on a second monitor.
Eradicating
I have
evil
to
my
literally
last
turn my
breath.
head to
My
the
bold
left
tone.
when my
No
monitor
turning back.
is right,
My
like
heart
on my
shall
right,
remain
to read chat on my mobile device.
Whoever follows the way of the ninja is a
That's why I'm a little slow questing, and why sometimes I won't pay attention too much to the game. It's because I'm paying so much attention and constantly turning my head to read chat. No, yeah, exactly, Solus. Clearing simulated universe, divergent universe, quests, and getting your traces and other things up, like, take priority over, like, trying to full clear endgame. Especially as a beginner, honestly, I think if you can make it halfway through every single endgame, so I think that's like 4.5 stars in APOC, 18 stars in Pure Fiction. Or actually, no, I think Pure Fiction has way less stars than that. But like halfway through Pure Fiction, halfway through MOC, you don't have to bother all that much. You're only losing out on like 10 pulls, maybe even less. And that isn't all that serious. Do you think Herda will age well if there isn't 5 target content? Yeah. I mean, again, there are, like, I'm not going to use Zero Cycles as the example here because they have very high investment. But there are very consistent, like, 2 or 3 cycles with a Herda against Svarog on a nearly completely free-to-play team. And Svarog is, like, 2 mobs. Literally only 2. And on top of that, it is off element. You could say the Trotters, but the Trotters pretty much just make up for the off element. Yeah, and then even in single target, she still does good damage. Like in single target with max stacks and a best in slot team, she's probably doing like 600 to 700k plus. And I think the beauty of a Herda team is that she will not be the only DPS on that team. So Herda's damage, even though I do think it is the main damage of her team, will not be the only one. There will also be Tribi, and there will also be Anoxa. You have 3 characters on that team as well dishing out damage. So I do think Herda will age fine, even in lower target content. What the fuck? What was that for? What's the point of putting Boot Hill as a 4-story DPS and making him go against non-physical weak mobs? Am I just stupid, or like, what the fuck was their plan here? Oh, it needs to include Boot Hill. Would you look at that? Didn't use technique. I mean, I don't think I could have used technique. Like, I didn't start fighting them. It was part of the quest. I thought I'd go into dialogue. Do not pull for Boot Hill, but pull for Firefly, please. Maybe that's the goal. Beta testing for Castros will be soon, right? No. There's still like over a month until versions come out for Castros. There should be a Castros drip market, I think, in like 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks there should be a drip market. However, I don't think we're gonna get beta testing anytime soon. It's usually like 1 day before a new patch hits. That's when we'll probably get the leaks. So 1 day before 3.1, there will probably be a few like V1s on YouTube. That's how it was for Tribune My Day. And that's also how it was for, I think, Italy and Herda. Firefly E2 is the best E2 in the game still. I think Herda's E2 is better, but I think Firefly's E1 is better than Herda's E1. But I do think Herda has the best DPS E2 in the game now. Third is better, but they are close, yeah. I think Bullets, the reason why I give it to Herda is because I think they both accomplish the same thing, with Firefly getting an extra turn and Herda getting double the enhanced skills. But the reason I think the E2 for Herda is better is because of the 35% action advance on top of it. And as well, when you start a fight, you get 1 free enhanced skill off the rip. So I do think that's like the added bonuses on top of it make it better. My Day's E2 is pretty busted. You can clear MOC with it. The thing with My Day's E2 is that it has an inherent flaw, which is the primary target, there is no difference to its multipliers. So if My Day would have already killed adjacent targets anyways, like, the primary target doesn't take any more damage. They still take the, like, it's only the adjacent and further targets that take more damage. So single target, like, scenarios, an E2 My Day literally makes 0 difference, which wouldn't feel good in my opinion. Like, imagine pulling for a character's E2 and in a certain scenario, it literally makes no difference if you were to not have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Herda's E2 in the worst possible case scenario at the on a single target is still really, really good. Because she does double the damage plus 35% action advance, plus has an enhanced skill at the very beginning of a fight. Wait, doesn't My Day E2 make him an erudition? Not really. Only his Godslayer be God is AoE. So his Kingslayer be King, which is what he usually does 90% of the time, is still like 3 target. But Godslayer be God does become AoE, which is nice, but he does not do Godslayer be God that often. He does it like maybe 3 times usually. 2 or 3 times in a cycle, if you have him like really well speed tuned. Or you're going against mobs that really hit him often. It's a good E2, don't get me wrong. It's just that it has a very glaring flaw in certain scenarios. Like currently for the AoE endgame content that we're getting, it's really good. But like, what happens when we go back to another Hule? You know what I'm saying? Because Hule, I think, is supposed to be one of the 3.1 MOC bosses. And Hule usually only has like 2 small minions that my day would have already killed anyways, even without the E2. So the E2 against Hule really doesn't make all that much of a difference. He's the only E2 that can solo MOC. Not really. Like, only because his multipliers are better. But like back in the day, Blade could also solo MOC. It's just that his multipliers are so bad these days, he'd take too many cycles. Like, I don't think survivability in an E2 has anything to do with how good a character is. Because 99% of people aren't going to care about his survivability like solo.
Beautiful, excellent music and real.
Like, in the first place, it's already, like, difficult to even die in this game. When you get later on and you actually have, like, decently invested sustains, like, it's genuinely difficult to die. Blade needed to be E6 to solo. Yeah, but no one's running solo, though. Like, and no one wants to do solo. I know what video you're talking about. He still took, like, a shit ton of cycles. And it's in his own MOC. Which has... Like, keep in mind, his MOC gives him HP back. Otherwise, he would not be able to solo this well. His MOC gives 5% HP return every single time he's hit, or 5% HP return every time he consumes HP. And on top of this, he as well gets a 30% max HP buff, which means all of his attacks do 30% more overall damage in that MOC compared to any other MOC. Like, it makes sense for him to not be able to die. Like, there's also Herda sustainless, Aglaya sustainless, and multiple other DPS sustainless comps because of that MOC buff, zero cycling the, what's it called? The MOCs. A solo 7 cycle is pretty wild, though. It is. 7 cycles for solo E2S1. It is good. I won't pretend it isn't. It is good. You could probably hit, what's it called? 3 cycles on, like, another team without much issue if you already have the money to invest into an E2S1 My Day. But I do think that his E2 is just... It's good. It's really good. Like, I really hate that it doesn't make a difference in single target scenarios.
Hold on now. Yes, more.
Element in this game is really not mattered. Kinda, yeah. Element doesn't really matter anymore. Like, it still does obviously make a difference, because if someone's weak to a certain element, they have less resistance. But I think with Triby's release, like, keep in mind, I think Triby, outside of Ruan Mei, is like the first Harmony to actually give like a good amount of res pen very easily on the skill. So, like, Aglaya off element can probably still zero cycle shit in her best in slot team. Herda off element is zero cycling Svarog. Like, element does not mean all that much anymore when a DPS is just so much fucking stronger. Like, you could get a DPS today that is going against an off element MOC. They will still probably perform a lot better than some of the 2.x DPSs in like an MOC where they have the element weakness at the same cost. Yeah, there's also like a really good clear of APOC Cocolia with Herda. And Cocolia has like significant ice res. Oh, I'm a little late. What's up, Kiwi? What are your thoughts on Poet over Scholar set for the Herda? No. Just no. Why would you use Poet over Scholar? What? I think in APOC you usually want more speed than attack on Herda. So Poet would literally be fucking useless. It would just nerf your Herda. In MOC maybe, but like Scholar is just significantly better in my opinion. Like, I don't see why anyone would use Poet unless their substats were literally complete dog shit on Scholar and they couldn't get the like high enough crit rate. That's literally the only way it makes sense. Like, on my Herda, I have like 3 pieces with only 1 crit stat, and my boots only have 1 crit roll on them. And even then, with E1 RMC, I still have like damn near 100% crit rate, plus 150 to 160 crit damage. Poet is the caster set. Herda doesn't benefit from speed though, and APOC she does. And APOC she 100% does. Same with Pure Fiction. I had better clears in Pure Fiction and APOC when I put her on speed boots instead of attack boots, and had her at a 135 threshold.
If someone is standing on the edge of a cliff, even a gentle breeze can easily tip them over.
You have to stop this breeze from growing. Even if the ninja initiates decide to make the leap, it should be a conscious choice of their own, and not sorcery that
Wait. I didn't even know Rappa had a technique like this. I kinda want Rappa now. Like, I'm not even trolling. I didn't know she had a technique that made mobility this fucking good. It kinda pisses me off that I didn't pull for her on my main account. Yeah, that's literally the problem with Poet. Like, if you've already unlocked the speed traces, I think if you get like even 1 speed substat or 2 speed substats, like let's say you get a double crit piece, but then it also has speed on it, you literally have to throw that shit out, bro. Do you have understand? Like, it's not worth it, man. Scholar is much easier to farm, and on top of that, Scholar is in the exact same Relic domain as Sacrados for Sunday, and like a lot of the harmonies. So like, it's just way better to farm Scholar.
Stop wasting your time on useless questions. It's almost time to hand in your paper.
Hold on. It seems to be intentionally guiding us toward them.
Like that's actually like one of the best relic domains in this entire game is Scholar plus Sacrados. Like, it's so fucking good if you have a Herda.
The experimental results have been so badly damaged. You're such a
Yeah, there's also that too, bullets, yeah. I guess another thing that's good about the Poet set is if you're running like a two-piece attack set Robin, the two-piece from Aglaia set with the attack percent, you could also just use some of those pieces on your Robin while also farming for Castris and Tribby.
Let us continue from where the best for the self is. Tell me, on a cosmic
Yeah, Tribby also uses Poet, I'm pretty sure.
You encouraged everyone to pursue their desires freely, but now you ridicule.
Though I do think if you don't give a shit about Tribby's personal damage, you could just not run Poet. And just, like, if you wanted to make her a complete Herda battery and regenerate as much energy as possible, like, you could probably do, like, Windset plus DDD, and she'd never have old downtime.
It's time for the final, the Sonata. The name of this class is Dreaming.
Yeah, bullets, yeah. Like, on my main account, I usually never pay attention to the two-piece attack sets. And then I remember, like, wait, I low-key have a Robin on my account. One of these might come in useful, like, in the future or something. Or even, like, March. I'm pretty sure I run my March on either two-piece attack or four-piece Musketeer on my main account. I hope they do bring out a new break DPS in the future. Only because my E1 S1 Ruan Mei isn't really getting any use on my main account currently. Like, I'd actually appreciate a new break DPS drop. Because I could literally instantly pull them and be good. And they'd probably rerun Fugue as well. I know a lot of people are sick of break because maybe they already have one. But I don't have a single break team on my account, even with an E1 S1 Ruan Mei. Look at all those breaks.
A failed Sonata.
Don't say Phanon. I mean, I wouldn't complain if Phanon's a break character. Like, pretty much everyone in my chat hates the idea. But if you really think about it, Fugue does have to get a rerun at some point. You know what I'm saying? At some point, she does have to get a rerun.
Mission accomplished.
What is this place?
No Super Break Himeko on your account? I'm just not gonna bother with that, man. Like, I have an Acheron and a Fei Xiao. Why would I bother doing Super Break Himeko? Let's be honest. I'm not going to waste like a month of Trailblaze power to build a Super Break Himeko team that is weaker than 2 of my other off-piece teams.
Evening, Chief. Stop insulting others with your filthy threat. One who seeks the way of the ninja is a ninja initiate. One who upholds the
Literally anyone else can be break except Phanon, not my beloved oily man. I mean, I just think it makes, like, Phanon genuinely would fit break completely fine, is the thing. Like, I understand people don't want him to be, but, like, if he were to be, like, a new archetype or, like, an old archetype of character, the one that would fit him the most is 100% break. Whether people like to admit it or not.
Go ahead if you really want to torture a prop. But a certain gorilla who has just awakened at the border of Azdana.
Like, I don't think he's going to be Remembrance in the slightest. I think there's like 100% chance he's not Remembrance.
I'm no longer able to detect the sound.
People are saying Destruction, but Destruction is always just a placeholder path. They were saying Aglaya was Destruction, and they were saying Aglaya was like an Ice Destruction DPS. Like, they always say Destruction. But, I think there is just a high chance he's break.
You're always talking about how much you hate that stuff. Why are you so unconcerned right now?
True damage DPS? That's also a possibility, but I'm not sure. Like, with a true damage DPS, you'd probably want a true damage support. So we'd have to assume that a limited true damage support would come out either on his patch or like a patch after or something like that.
But he's not the then my way of eradicating Eve to the end.
How would that even work? I don't know. Probably just a DPS who just straight up does true damage or something. Like, maybe he has like base kit that converts everything into damage, and then there's a part of his kit that converts his original damage into a percentage of true damage. Not sure, but just off the top of my head. I don't think Anox is going to be a Jiaoqiu for Herda. I think his best in slot team will be with Herda, but according to leakers, he's like a general sub DPS that works in basically any crit DPS's team. So if you have a team buffer, and you might not have like the best in slot hyper carry buffer like Sunday for like a certain DPS, then it would genuinely probably be more beneficial to run duo DPS with Anoxa plus main DPS and Tribi. And then you have a sustain. Like, I think that's what Anoxa is kind of made for outside of the Herda team. Just an assumption though, right? Because the old kit about him being able to weakness implant, which was before he got his path and element change according to leakers, like according to leakers that hasn't changed at all. Like, he's still keeping his old kit that was leaked with the weakness implanting, the Migo, which means he scales off of attack. Like, leakers recently said he still scales off of attack. So if that's true, he's just going to be a general sub DPS.
Paperfold University back then. The annual Dreamlight Anniversary is the opportunity for students to temporarily toss their shovels aside.
Yeah, the thing is, Solus, so this is the reason why I think Phanon would probably be break, is because the number one issue with break DPSs is turns, right? This is the number one issue they have, is they want as much turns as possible to be able to get through a toughness bar. So, a break DPS who could get extra turns in their kit similar to like My Day or like Seal's Resurgence whenever she kills something, I think that would easily be the most meta and broken like break DPS in the game. That is why I've been like kind of considering it for Phanon, because the leakers did say Phanon had something similar to this with like extra turn or something like that, which would make him the most broken break DPS in the game. And also, it would line up with a Fugue rerun. I think it would be perfect if like 4 to 5 patches later, Fugue gets a rerun on a new break DPS that actually can like fully utilize her, right? And now there's 4 break DPSs in the game that can use Fugue, so her value is significantly higher. 5 if you include Himeko. Oh, I finished the quest. Nice. Alrighty then. We only have one more to go, and then we have some of these purple ones. Okay. Doesn't Boot Hill not have that problem? The thing is, even though Boot Hill technically doesn't have that problem, Phanon could still be more broken depending on how often the extra turn procs, and if he's also a crit break DPS, then he would be significantly more broken than Boot Hill with extra turn, plus being able to use like Sunday or Bronya for even more turns. So it's just like better that way. If they were to introduce a break DPS with the extra turn mechanic, it would be better. Plus, keep in mind, the endgame is becoming AoE focused, so Boot Hill currently is the weakest of the 3 break DPSs. So if Phanon actually is destruction, then his value would be considerably higher than Boot Hill's. Plus, Boot Hill is like a year old at this point. Like, it genuinely would be fine for him to get power crept. Like, at this point, like, he's old enough. It wouldn't be that crazy. True damage plus super break Phanon? Yeah, that as well. There's a lot you could do. With the true damage mechanic, there's a lot of, like, combinations you could do with Phanon. A new crit break hybrid would benefit from May a lot, yeah. You probably use like May. In a sustain team, wouldn't it be better to use Fugue over May? Because in sustainless, you could do like Sunday, Fugue May plus DPS, but in sustain, I think Fugue is better than May. I'm at 146 pulls. Haven't done any of the old events. And I have a lot of missing chests and shrouders, and I haven't done simulated universe either. If we talk about break, he would want break efficiency, no. The thing is, I'm pretty sure Fugue is a best in slot over May for Boot Hill. Because it allows Boot Hill to get significantly more breaks off. Like, obviously, the best combo possible is May plus Fugue, but I'm pretty sure Fugue is more integral for like a break DPS compared to Ruan Mei. And even then, like, Boot Hill is literally a best case scenario. The other two, Firefly and Rappa, 100% want Fugue over Mei. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually you don't have to choose between the two, but you'd probably be wanting to give him action advance if he's the second hybrid, in which Sunday would hold higher value.
700 years. It's never too late to pick up the tab.
Yeah, 'cause I think the thing is, Solus, if Phanon ends up being a crit break hybrid, the value of Sunday would be significantly higher than Ruan Mei's 50% weakness break efficiency increase and like break effect whatever, because you can just give like Phanon an extra 4 turns a cycle basically, which I think is a lot more valuable. And on top of that, I also think Fugue is more valuable than Ruan Mei. So I think Fugue plus Sunday for a crit break hybrid is probably better. I'm not sure though. This is just all speculation. It just depends which one they cater Phanon's kit more to. If he were a crit break hybrid, high chance he isn't. Really, Bullets. I've seen a lot of Sunday Fugue Boot Hill 0 cycles, but so I think if they were to make a new crit break hybrid, they'd probably be able to take way better advantage of Sunday's buffs. Jouei's the only crit break hybrid right now. No, Boot Hill, unless you're talking about free. Yeah, Zen, exactly. Fugue allows you to get the pocket trick shots insanely quickly. And then on top of that, Sunday gives an extra 4 turns a cycle. I think maybe Sunday is better with higher investment, but Ruan Mei is better in any other case scenario maybe. Oh my god, stop chasing me. I've already seen that Solus, but I'm not taking it seriously. I've already seen it. You literally can't tell anything from it. The thing is, Bullets, I think 90% of people who have a Sunday aren't using them on their Boot Hill. Like, and a lot more people have pulled for Ruan Mei instead of Fugue. Like, Ruan Mei is the highest used character in every single endgame mode. APOC, Pure Fiction, MOC. I'm pretty sure she's still the #1 used character in all 3 endgame modes. Like, the majority of people in this game own a Ruan Mei as a limited. So, like, those types of statistics, I don't take that seriously. I'm going to be honest. They don't use Bronya either. Yeah, that's another thing, Bullets. Like, okay, so I think the issue here is that I'm thinking of fast cycle clears. Because every time I watch a boot hill video, it usually is a fast clear, and they're using either Bronya or Sunday. So I think for the average person who's clearing in like 3 or 4 cycles, most people don't use Bronya or Sunday, I guess. I think that's just a perspective issue on my part, because I don't actually own any of the break DPSs. So I don't actually know if it's like, you know, like weird to be running Bronya on Sunday outside of 0 cycles.
No kidding. I could tell. I heard that Urila's 6 only stepped out of the Stellaron's shadow thanks to the direct intervention of the Trailblazers.
Yeah, Solus. Especially with the Lycone. I think Sunday with a Lycone is really good for boot hill, because the skill point issue is much less of an actual issue anymore. Like compared to Bronya especially.
More good luck, I suppose.
His buffs also last longer, which is as well nice.
Your job sounds pretty similar to the express cruise. Bronya moves fast. The crisis is only just over and she's already opened talks with the IPC.
Topaz quest, yeah. This is the last orange quest I have on this account. I don't actually know. Does anyone know what the purple quests are? And if they're like as long as these ones? Because they give a lot of jades, which is usually a sign that they're gonna take a long ass time. But I'm not sure. But after this, I only have 3 purple quests, and I'm done with like all of the main quests in this game. I'll probably finish this today, but I'm not sure how long the purple quests are.
You two make a cute pair.
Purple or character quests 2 to 3 hours? Fuck me, man. Oh.
The universe is huge. Come on, let's head into the city.
Do they give... If they don't give good Trailblaze XP, I'm not gonna bother. How about that? Fuck. They give good XP, man.
Everywhere. Are you sure we're in Belobog? Now to check out the main event, the food. Come on, keep up. Hey, quick! Serval's about to start singing.
There are more than 3. I am not going to do those purple quests until later on. Probably. I'm going to be honest, I'm getting quite tired of min-maxing all these quests. I just want to start building my characters, man. Like, I've been basically speedrunning the entirety of these quests all day long. Oh my goodness. I want to remind you all that if there was a skip button in this game, I probably would have finished all the planets within 1 day and the side quests on the 2nd day.
I understand the difficulties that this world is facing, Supreme Guardian.
Natasha, Hook, Don Hung, Yunli, Luca. Don't remember more because I don't do most, I see.
However, objectively speaking, since Belobog has existed as an
How many days for Divergent to end? I know it doubles everything right now. I'm not sure, but I think it's just 3.1. I'm pretty sure. I don't know about the double points, how long that's gonna last. But I think it gets reset, like the levels get reset on 3.1. So I need to farm as quickly as I can right now. I need to finish the first SU world, and then I need to start doing DU.
Please consider my plans carefully, Supreme Guardian. If Eurela 6 wants
Wait, does anyone know if you have to complete everything in SU to go move on to DU? Like every planet? Or do you only need to complete like the beginning and then you can do DU as well? It isn't that big of a deal if I have to do every planet, but I'm just curious. Because DU doesn't, or SU doesn't take that long. It's usually like 20 minutes a planet. I don't? Okay.
Is everything all right, Rania? I didn't know Miss. It's good to see you two. There's no need to keep on. I'm sure you've heard seems that much of Bella. Topaz shared with among those outsiders. They sought out Arctic. It was with those funds that. Wow. Yes. That's ridiculous. According to her, the IPC wasn't until this. And that's when astronaut before you both. I had no idea. Yeah. You seem to now have no feet. Yeah. Thank you. So while you're out. Oh, hey.
I have faith in this quest and that it's shorter than the other two. Because all of the quests from the earlier planets are usually significantly shorter than the newer ones. So I do have faith this one won't be as long. Like, back in the day, Hoya used to actually know decent pacing when it came to dialogue. SU has like 4 modes, no? Yeah. Divergent Universe, Golden Gears, and I think Swarm Disaster plus Simulated Universe. I think that's the 4. If you count Unknowable Domain, it's like 5, but I don't think Unknowable Domain counts.
However, I appreciate just your cheap, but oops, the exhibit's here.
So you're basically saying the Belabogians must pay off their ancestors' debt.
Boom, boom, boom.
When you think about
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm not sure it's
Himeko's absolutely carried me this entire time. Thank God I chose her. She's gonna save me in Pure Fiction.
I absolutely.
so. Rania invested.
No matter what, so
So you're.
don't worry yourself. But to answer,
This isn't.
I wouldn't waste too much. Oh, looks like.
So. Well. Did someone.
Oh my goodness. It's the Caster's wannabe. It's the Caster's wannabe.
Huh? The IPC are causing trouble in the underworld? Already? Seriously? Topaz was just talking about taking the welfare of the
My day mates are not happy. Can't blame them. Why? Why are they not happy?
money-hungry
The auto battle?
for a minute.
Maybe My Day releasing before Casters? I didn't even... Do they just make a mains for any character that releases at this point? Like, I'm not really on Reddit like that. Like, only once in a while to check the leaks Reddit. Do they just make a mains Reddit for every fucking new character?
Really, but nobody's been serious.
Yeah? Jeez. His personal damage, auto battle, and stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna blame them. Like, he is currently looking weaker than Aglaya. And he is currently also looking weaker than Herda. And because he's an HP scaler, Like, his free-to-play team is complete dog shit. And there isn't a single dedicated HP support in the entirety of the game. And then the auto battle sometimes hits like a fucking adjacent target. Like, it hits a True Sting's minion instead of the actual boss. Like, he has RNG, he has less damage, and his best in slot teammates are best in slot on other more meta teams. Like, I'd be pissed too, bro. I mean, he's good at the end of the day, so if you don't care about meta, he's fine. But, like, you're going to have to keep that Sunday on that team. Or at least have, like, a Sparkle with S5 DDD to make up for it. There are mains pages for units who don't even have a render yet. What the fuck? Like Hyacine? Is there like a Hyacine mains maybe? Loki, I gotta check this out. Give me a second, guys. I can't read Chad for a second. Hyacine mains. Oh my god, it does exist. It actually does exist. Oh my god. Share screen? I searched it up on my phone, not my computer. It only has like 240 members though, but damn, people really be making mains on anything. It's like those people on Twitter who like hella want attention. So there's like 10 to 20 different people with daily blank in my name, depending on who the character is.
I've come to have a chat.
I only check for leaks, same.
So it seems my source was right.
Free to play teams are better than a Glea at least. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Exists between a giant robot and a
The problem with Aglaya is that fucking energy cost. Like, I think everyone understands that. That energy cost is way too absurd unless you have limited Huohuo and Sunday. Like, those are the only two units who can alleviate the annoyance of her energy cost unless you go for her E1. But it would be much better to just pull her E0S0 and get Sunday on a rerun than it would be to get her E1. Like, that energy cost is too much, man. It's just too much.
I only care about one thing right now. Demonstrating to the shareholders of the IPC that your Relic 6 can generate value. In the long run, this is a way, the only way, to ensure Belobod's long-term interests. I need your help to achieve this goal.
Long-term interest analysis.
That's simple. I'll show you.
This is
Source code. I'm sure you're familiar with this. All mechanized
Basically, timeline, honestly. Like, how much ER is hurt again? 230? I think it's like 220 or 230, yeah. But, yeah, basically, like, if you look at Acheron, Acheron on release was the strongest DPS, right? Even without Aventurine, even without Jiao Q. At the time, she was the strongest. But if you use an Acheron these days without Jiao Q, it just doesn't hit the same, man. It really doesn't. Even with Jiao Q, she's still not the strongest DPS in the game. But, like, Jiao Q alleviates a lot of her issues with stacks. And the vulnerability as well helps her do significantly more damage on ult. But it's just like, you should always prioritize a new DPS's best supports, usually before Eidolons or Lycones, like 100%, right? I wailed on Herta and got her E2S1 because I wanted her to last me as long as possible. That's why I went for it, right? Because even without Tribune, without Anoxa, an E2S1 Herta is still going to clear old content just fine, But like most people who don't get as lucky as I did, it's almost just always better to go for best in slot supports over going for Eidolons plus Lycone. Yeah, exactly, Azex. I think I got the same thing. Like, it just doesn't feel all that good. $350? $350 is Aglaea's energy cost, I believe. I believe it is $350. That's what they said about Dill E2S12. I mean, if you think about it, when did Dill release? I actually don't know when Dill released because I didn't play the game back then. Does anyone know what patch? Okay, 1.3. An E2 Dill is honestly still clearing content today. So he's nearly like, he's like 1.5 years old, and an E2S1 Dill can still clear content today. So I think that's good enough, in my opinion. I think that's good enough. Does he need some of the new supports? Possibly. However, he can still clear. Okay. I've actually seen like a 0 cycle of E2S1 Dill on the True Sting side. Yeah, like he's not the strongest DPS anymore, but like an E2 Dill aged very well because his E2 was far ahead of its time. Like it took until Acheron for a new meta DPS to have a better E2. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Take me deeper into the great mines, Numby. Isn't it crazy how Numby just got power crept by Herda? Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I miss having a Herda on this account. Because on my main account with Amphorius, all I did was spam the technique over and over again, and I have damn near every single chest in Amphorius, like, taken. I'm only missing a few because I was confused how to get to them.
Hey, you! Are you in charge around here?
Yeah, Herda's E2 is currently the best E2 in the game, even including, like, my day. Or DPS E2 at least. That's why I was so, like, fine with trying to go for E2. Is because if I did hit it, like, let's be honest, Herda's going to last a little while, at the minimum. In her worst case scenario, which is single target, even then, with the E1 Tribby that I'm probably going to end up pulling, I'll be completely in the clear. But anyways, most of the time in this game, it's more so targeted towards destruction or higher. In which case, I'm fine with her her being E2 and not single target. You know what'll happen when a single target MOC comes out? Fei Xiao's being taken out. Bam. I just put Fei Xiao in there. Nice and easy. Wouldn't you pulling E1 Tribi on your main result in not getting Castris or Noxa? I already said I'm not going for Castris on my main account. But no. I'd be able to get a Noxa just fine. So 3.2 is the anniversary patch. Meaning we should get at least 20 more pulls. And the average for the last two patches has been 100 to 110 pulls free to play. So I have Express Pass plus Anniversary. I'll get around like 160 pulls in 3.2. And Anoxa's the second phase and Tribi's the first phase of 3.1. Which means I have the second phase of 3.1 plus the entirety of 3.2 to guarantee myself Anoxa. Which I can 100% get. Like, there's a 100% chance. The only one that actually is arguable that I might not get is E1 Tribi. I might not be able to get E1 Tribi if I lose even one 50-50. However, I'm still fine with an E0 Tribi anyways. Because I have S5 DDD. I have an S5 DDD, so I'm fine with it. I can just get her E1 on a rerun. But yeah, this account 100% can get E1 Tribi, but my main one is going to be cutting it close. Apart from Sunday, is there any character you want to rerun by 3.2? Not really. No. I don't really care for any reruns in this game currently. All of the best reruns basically have already... Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, no, you did say apart from Sundays. Yeah. Nah, there's no one else I care about.
These guys don't look like
By order of the Supreme
Yeah,
Guardian,
Sunday's the only
seek no
interesting
further.
one for a rerun.
Topaz.
Bellabug might be in arrears, but I'm out of pocket. See you later, Captain.
I have E2 Firefly. It's a better Eidolon. Are you talking about compared to E2 Herda? E2 Firefly is 100% not a better Eidolon than E2 Herda. If you're talking about that. Oh yeah, the E1 is better than Herda's E1. But Herda's E2 is significantly better than Firefly's E2. Herda's E2 literally accomplishes the same thing as Firefly's. Except you get a free enhanced skill at the very beginning. And you get an extra 35% action advance after using enhanced skill. So you get action advance plus double the enhanced skill uptime plus enhanced skill at the beginning of battle. But yeah, Firefly's E1 is better because it allows you to use skill point more often on teammates. You cannot take them separately? What do you mean? You can 100% take them separately. What? You can 100% take them separately. That's why so many people talk about like E1 Robin, or like when people talk about E2 Robin, most of the time they're talking about the E1 because the E2 is like pretty mid on Robin. Actually, I have a hot take.
Miss Branya,
I have a hot take. I am about to say.
I'd like to share a story with you from my own life.
Yes, Herda's E1
The IPC
is worse than Firefly's, but Herda's light cone is significantly, like, it's a significant boost for her damage plus a skill point every single ult. That is better than Firefly's E1.
My home planet was extremely
So I think E2S1 Herda is better than Firefly, and E1S1 it's actually like close between the two because of the S1 being so much better with Herda. E2S0 you could make an argument for Firefly having better value. Not being better, but having better value. But E2S1 Herda is better. Also, another thing a lot of people mention, which is completely true, and I've mentioned this myself before, going for E1 Herda allows you to go for E2 Herda on the rerun. And she literally does like 80% more damage on average a cycle with her E2 unlocked. And then against 5 targets, it's actually 100%. So she does double the damage a cycle with the E2. Not including the action advance, by the way. There's also the enhanced skill at the beginning plus the action advance. Firefly's S1 I don't think is a 17% increase. It's usually like a 10 to 15% increase. Yeah, Sugar. E2 Herda without the light cone is like kinda counterproductive because she gets the 35% action advance and you're taking more turns on Herda more often with which makes the skill point issue even worse. It's 15%, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that 15% is that... So, the more cycles I think you take, the bigger of a difference it makes for the signature light cone versus the free-to-play one. So, depending on the player, the signature light cone is actually like... I've seen a lot of people who have tested it who are actually good at the game, and they found like a 9 to 10% difference. And then worse players, because they take so many more cycles without the signature, because they don't know how to play like without it, it's like 15 to 20%. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Herda does have some serious SP issues. And it's even more worrying that apparently Anoxa, according to the leakers, is gonna want to spam skill every single turn. Like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, no offense, but I know she doesn't have her best in slot team yet, but you want to spam Anoxa skill every turn. You want to spam Herda skill every turn. Tribby is incredibly fucking slow, so she isn't even generating that much SP. And then the sustain is usually like SP neutral, unless you're running like Aventurine. Because Aventurine can be SP positive pretty easily. It's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Hello? Oh, they finally added Aglaia to the character tier list. Nice. So, how much of a difference does Herda's light cone make? So, Herda's light cone is literally the exact same around the battle pass light cone. Okay, so this is different. This isn't comparing to free to play. This is comparing to battle pass, which is more unfair. But comparing to Battle Pass Lycone, I'm not sure if it's S5 or S1. 14% at E0. E1, it becomes 18%. And then at E2, it becomes nearly a 30% difference when you use the Lycone or a free-to-play one. And this doesn't account for the value of the skill point refund on the Lycone, which, by the way, Fireflies doesn't have. Fireflies is just a direct break effect increase. So yeah, her Lycone is 100% better than what's it called? Her Lycone is 100% better than Fireflies. Like, it's not even close. Yeah, against non-paid options, the difference is larger. But I couldn't see it on Pride when it was comparing to a Battle Pass Lycone. I just said it wasn't terrible. I didn't say Firefly's Lycone was ever terrible. I said Firefly's Lycone is just worse than Herda's Lycone. Like, Herda's Lycone is better than Firefly's E1 because it accomplishes the same thing while giving Herda an overall bigger damage bonus. So anytime you're comparing the two with a like Lycone versus Lycone and Eidolon versus Eidolon, Herda usually wins because the Lycone is just better, and then the E2 is also better. That's basically all it is. Firefly only beats Herda's E1. What? Oh. Pride wouldn't better have put Aglaia on tier 1. I'm not actually sure if they've ranked her yet. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think they've ranked her yet. I think they're gonna wait until official release. Yeah, Aglaia isn't ranked yet. They're waiting until official release. If I'm being honest, Aglaia... So Pride Win does use best in slot teams, right? Aglaia should be T0 in MOC, T0.5 in Pure Fiction, and T0.5 in APOC. That makes the most sense for her. When originally I wasn't looking at showcases for her, she was... I thought she was AoE. So for the longest time, I thought she was actually like full AoE. And then I realized she's only Blast, and when I watched Pure Fiction showcases, she didn't perform anywhere near as comfortably as the Herda. So I do think Pure Fiction will be T0.5, and she performs pretty similarly to the Herda in APOC. What does E2 Jiaoqiu even do? Like, I don't even know what E2 Jiaoqiu does. Do you have the Herda on my main account? anyone know what E1 Triby does? So, I'm gonna explain it better this time, now that I actually fully know what it does. So I made a mistake before, where I assumed Herta just did the same amount of damage to all targets on field. What the E1 does for Triby is, depending on how many enemies on field the main target has hit, right? Like if you're using Herta and you hit 5 enemies on field, 24% true damage of the attack that you did towards other mobs will stack onto the highest HP mob on field, right? So Herta does more single target usually than she does to like the adjacent and further targets. So the stack of true damage you'd get from the main boss would be higher than the adjacent ones. But it's still massive. Don't get me wrong, it's still massive. I'm pretty sure it's still better than E1 Robin in almost every scenario. Apparently, I said Robin was better in single target, but according to the leakers, Robin and Triby are tied at single target for E1 versus E1. And then once you go farther than one target, Triby is straight up just better. She has a better multiplier.
Fancy a coffee?
Yeah. It also has hyper synergy with Anoxa and Triby herself, because all 3 of them are complete AoE, so. No problem, Leo, yeah. So if you were to do like 200k single target to the main boss with Herta, 24% of that would count as like extra damage on obviously the boss again, because he's the highest HP mob. So you just add like 48k, and that's only including the boss. And then if you do 100k to other adjacent targets instead of the 200k to the single, it'll take 24% of that, which is like 24k, and then add that to the highest HP mob. So it just adds a lot more extra damage towards the highest HP mob on field, which is significantly more broken than Robin's E1, because adjacent targets are usually significantly weaker than like the main boss. So getting extra damage on them usually doesn't even matter.
That is a lot of information.
Apparently it's tied, Zen. It's not better. According to the leakers, it's literally like a tie in the worst possible case scenario.
Deny the offer on the table.
Like even against shared HP boss, because you're still getting the 24% true damage, and true damage is straight up just true damage. You're doing 24% more damage.
Let me get, well, I see.
Non-best in slot Aglaia is T1.5 in my opinion. I don't think I'd go that far. T1.5 literally has Clara in it. I don't think I'd go that far, but I'd say a non-best in slot Aglaia team would probably be tier 1. Like that probably makes more sense. But with Sunday plus Wowo plus RMC or Robin, she's T0 MOC. I mean, you don't need Robin. Like, Robin is incredibly close to RMC, which is, you know what I'm saying? The only one you really need is Sunday. I've seen videos of people learning how to work around with only having either Sunday or Huohuo, but the issue arises when you don't have both. If you don't have both Sunday or Huohuo, That's when Aglaya genuinely has issues with ult uptime.
Miss March. Hey there, Mistress. What? I'm not. What now?
Or you get the E1, yeah, or you get the E1 basically. You get the E1, you're not going to have to worry about energy anymore.
It's all because everyone has just taken your distinct
Just get the E1, guys.
How the ghosts are. Oh, right.
You should have known her E1 would be top tier, man. What can I say? You should have seen into the future by like 3 patches. Rookie mistake. You did the old events? No.
Thought it was just a few IPC ruffians overstepping their boundaries.
Yeah, you didn't think the future of Belobog was at stake, right?
No, I don't regret it either, noob. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my E2 S1 Herda, bro. Oh my fucking god. I've never hit numbers like that ever before in my life. Like, it's so satisfying to see. Like, an APOC when the bug is broken, like 3 to 4 million. When I'm in Pure Fiction, 4 to 5 million. When I'm in MOC and there's like 3 to 4 targets, over 1 million. And she spams that enhanced skill every fucking turn. I do not regret it in the slightest. She doesn't even have a best in slot team, man, yet. She doesn't even have the best in slot team yet. Oh, it's so beautiful to see.
Whoa, the fort's packed. I've never seen this many people here before.
I saw people making an argument for My Day being weaker than both of them in best in slot teams. That he doesn't have a best in slot team. But like that same shit applies to Herda, so that argument doesn't even work. Like, I don't want My Day to power creep them at all, but it's like, it's kind of cope. Like, it's literally just a Sparkle cope all over again of, oh, wait until the next Quantum Meta SP Hungry DPS releases, and then Sparkle will be meta again. Like, it's literally the same shit for My Day copers. Who are saying, like, just wait until the HP support, which will go straight into Casterus' team.
Enough! All of you! I know what to do. Wait!
I wonder how they'll power creep Argenti battery. All they have to do is make a Noxa do more damage and more utility, and make his ult cost the exact same as Argenti. I think that's the best possible case scenario. Make his ult as spammable or even just nearly as spammable as Argenti. And that Trivia Noxa Herda team is going like off the rails broken. My Day definitely has the worst team compared though for supports, I mean. Not. The thing is, this will apply the exact same to Casterus. And the difference is 99% chance when Casterus drops, she actually will be the strongest DPS in the game. That's kind of the difference with My Day. Like, no one would care about My Day being weaker if Casterus wasn't literally the next banner. and her being the exact same archetype of damage, and they use the exact same best in slot teammates. Do you have any understand the disrespect they're giving to My Day currently by putting Castris on the very next banner and as well making her an HP scaler? Have you seen the difference in animation quality between the two? They honestly just want to clown My Day for fun. That's all they want to do. They just want to clown My Day. Is My Day a fine pull? Will he last you the entirety of 3.x? Probably. I'm not going to say he isn't, right? But for like people who are looking for a big DPS drop that's going to last them like longer than a year, probably Castris. You know what I'm saying? However, if you like the character more, like if you like My Day more, 100% just pull My Day. Like, you're obviously going to get more enjoyability out of the game if you pull for the character you like. You know what I'm saying? Don't gotta be like meta for everything. Well, yeah, Crowing, I do say the exact same thing for Aglaya. Yeah. Like, I've been saying this literally since Aglaya's leaks, that you should not pull for Aglaya if what you care about is meta, because she uses the exact same best in slot teammates as like Castris, and she's the first of the path. Like, I've been saying this shit for the longest time. I just stopped saying it because people get like mad at me whenever I make a video like, oh my god, can't you just let people pull for whoever they like? As if I don't have in my title best meta DPS or best meta options, best pull value. And I still have people in my comments talking to me about personal preference. Imagine Anoxa's AoE Firefly skill regenning energy. If Anoxa could regen energy, he would probably go in every single sustainless team in the game where a character uses energy. Even, maybe not even like sustainless, but like if he can also do 20% energy, that would be incredibly fucking broken. Because now you have 3 characters in the game that can all give 20% energy. Woho on ult, Sunday on ult, and probably like a Nox on ult as well. Exactly, Tippy. That's why I had no issue for going Herda on my main account, even if I was about to brick it and not get an Oxa for Castris, is because Castris does not use the supports that Herda does. Like, Herda will use Tribby. And even outside of that, she can use things like Jade, other eruditions. She doesn't need like the most limited supports. But like Aglaya and My Day both need the same best in slot supports as Castris to perform optimally. So Herda has a nice advantage there. I'd also like to mention this. I think not enough people talk about this, right? Hear me out. If you are going to pull the best in slot supports to make one of the current DPSs like the strongest, you could use the pulls that you're using for your DPS to get like E1 Tribby plus like E0 S1 or E1 S1 Sunday. And with those 2 harmonies, you can literally clear the endgame with any DPS. Like, if you just took the pulls that you'd spend on the DPS and put them into the harmony, you would literally be able to clear endgame with anyone. I feel like not enough people consider this. because they really want like a new DPS with flashy animations. But like if all you care about is meta, Harmony investment rules over everything else. I literally just saw a Yang Ching zero cycle this morning using like a E1 S1 Robin plus E1 S1 Sunday. Like, it's so fucking cheesy, man. Like, it is so cheesy if you just invest in harmonies in this game. The thing is, Irokumata, I think E6 Robin and stuff like that is different. Because you're only investing in one character, so your second team is going to fall off. But going for like 2 different semi-invested harmonies, that's when your account really starts to pop off.
It's a shame we had to resort to this method. We had no choice.
That's why I'm like completely fine with going with E1 Tribby on this account. Is because I get E1 Tribby plus E0 S1 Sunday. I don't even need to worry about my DPSs with those 2 harmonies on my account. Like, it's literally just easy pickings.
It's all right. Are you ready? Remember. To be honest, I didn't think it would be so powerful. Good thing everything went according to plan.
True, I also go for E1 and E2 with Harmony and E0 0 DPS. Yeah, Crowing. I think that's like the best way to do it, low-key. Unless it's like the Herda. Like, I think Herda is definitely a lot more reliant on the Lycone because of the skill point refund. But like, when you're talking about like the Fireflies, right, where like a Lycone is mainly only a damage difference, then I think in those cases, Harmony investment rules over anything else. I mean, that's true, Irokumata. I mean, meta-wise, that would be the best possible route, Kunal. 100%. Is Castro's team 100% going to use RMC and Sunday? I think so, yeah. At like E0 S1, I think Castorus, Sunday, and RMC is probably going to be the best combo. But I do think, pretty possibly, if you have an E1 Tribby would be better than RMC. Just an opinion, though. I'm not sure because of how slow Castorus is. She might be like heavily reliant on RMC's action advance and true damage compared to like Tribby's better buffs but worse action advance, right? But there is a caveat to this. If you have S5 DDD, I think Tribby is 100% probably a better option. I'm just going to guess here, but I think E1 Tribby with a DDD would probably be better than RMC no matter what. Hail DDD? Yeah. It's basically the equivalent of a signature Lycone in this game. How much of a damage increase does E1 Tribby grant? It depends on how many mobs are on field. It's just 24% true damage on however much attack you hit on every single mob. At the very maximum, an AoE DPS who does damage to all 5 targets equally would get like a 120% damage increase on the highest HP mob on field. But Herda does less damage to adjacent targets with enhanced skill, I think. Have they put DDD on a Lycone banner yet? No. It's going to be second phase. Once Herda banner ends, and we get like Robin rerun and all that stuff, that's when DDD's coming back. DDD hasn't... The last time we saw DDD in this game was Dill Rerun and Sparkle in 2.0. So like in a week, I think, like I'm pretty sure in a week is Aglaea's banner. That's when DDD will be on banner.
Pleasure to meet you, Miss Tiffany.
Oh, wow. I remember now. The illustrious Miss Himeko. Some of my colleagues dream about meeting you. Of course.
Say Acheron hits 2 targets with the ult and gets around 450k, how would that be? I'm not sure,
Been getting along.
because I don't know
Based on your greeting.
how much damage she's doing to adjacent targets and the single target one. It's just 24% true damage. So if you do 100k on one target, 24% of that is being accounted for as extra true damage. And you'll do like 124k instead. That's basically how it works. And this can apply to multiple mobs. However, it scales off of how much damage a certain mob has taken on field. So, Acheron, I think, does do more single target than like further outside of the single target. So it's hard to me to say that like off my head. But according to like the testers, E1 Tribby at minimum in a single target situation is on par with Robin E1. And when you go to more than one target and further, she exponentially gets better than Robin E1. Is it worth it to summon on Aglaea Lycone for DDD because my DD is S4? Sure. I mean, you could risk it, but be aware that you might win early. I'm only going to put like 10, 20, or 30 pulls to get one copy of DDD on this account, because I do not want to get an early 5-star for a Lycone I can't use on anyone. Because if I get a Lycone, I am not going to be pulling that character.
The best kept secret to getting something over the line? Always be ready to turn the tables. Go, Numby.
Yes, Tippy, that's how it works, yes.
Projects under my wing have no room for error.
Yes, Azex. That is currently the strongest sustainless team for Fei Xiao, is Tribby plus Robin. I hope they don't nerf her E1. I don't think they'll nerf it. What I think they might do is move it to like an E2 because of how broken it is. But there's also, I think it's a 50-50 chance, because usually E1s for harmonies or S1s are significantly better than E2s. So it is like, there's also a good chance it just stays there. Yeah, exactly, Tippy. Especially in scenarios where there's like a boss with a ton of ads and the boss has extremely high HP, your damage to the boss would probably increase, like against 5 targets, like 80 to 90%. So like I want to bring up probably the best case scenario of this, the Legion boss. The Legion boss who like summons those 4 spears around him and is incredibly slow. The damage you do to those 4 spears will be accounted for in the 24% true damage stacks on Legion boss. So Legion boss will take considerable, like a considerable increased amount of damage. Yeah. I don't have to worry about it because I'm getting E1 Tribi on at least one of my accounts no matter what. And if I can only get E0 on my main account, I'm actually fine with that. Because Tribi is still best in slot with DDD anyways on a Herda team. So, either way, I win. If I get lucky enough to get E1 on both, though, that is the best case scenario.
I have to admit, talking to you is always such a pleasure. I apologize for my behavior. I admire your determination
I wouldn't recommend any new player pull for Robin.
this far.
I understand. That's why I've been taking things. Members of the Express?
What a dismal sight. This district.
Kyle. Excellent, let's go.
What is this place? We've never been here before, right?
We've only recently discovered this domain. Let's keep moving forward.
Even if they aren't going for the new units, yeah. Like,
Look,
it wouldn't make any sense. It's just a waste of pulls when you're a completely new player. You pull Robin when you don't have a single one of the old DPSs that can actually take advantage of her. And you could make the argument, oh, Robin's like a best in slot on what's it called, Aglaya's team. So you go Robin, then you go Aglaya. I'm gonna be honest, if you go for their Lycones, which is what you want to play them optimally, that free-to-play player is already going to be down to like damn near 0 pulls unless they get lucky. And it would have been way better to just get Sunday with a Lycone over Robin, or Tribi with her E1, with all of the upcoming DPSs, because her E1 is the most broken in the game. E1 Tribi eclipses E1 Robin, and then E0 S1 Sunday is way more future-proof for all of these new DPSs. Plus, I don't think a new player would pull for older DPSs in the first place. Like, that's a very rare case scenario.
thought you might. Miss Topaz.
Because if you really think about it, Sunday and Tribi are probably going to last the majority of 3.x, and they're significantly more universal because they don't have any attack scaling in their kits. All of their buffs apply to crit DPSs and DPSs that can use like damage bonus that don't need attack scaling at all. So they work for the HP scalers, and Tribi even works for like break teams. Like, she actually works for break teams. Sunday works for Boot Hill. Like, they're the most universal supports in the game. I also think something similar to how I talk about Ling Sha, I want to talk about Tribi. Tribi's value in APOC and Pure Fiction will be significantly higher than her value in MOC. Like, she will 100% be one of the strongest harmonies, even in MOC. But, like, it'll be another Ling Sha situation where her lowest value is in MOC.
Unfortunately, the acquisition of Eurilla 6 is a strategic decision that's been approved.
Would you say that E1 Robin is worth going for if you already invested in follow-up?
Wanted to overturn it. Convincing them would be extremely difficult.
That's subjective, Azex. That's subjective. I can't say. Meta-wise, no. But if you just want to make your follow-up team last longer, yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
And
But you're probably going to miss out on that E1 Tribby if you go for that E1 Robin. And E1 Tribby is significantly stronger than E1 Robin. Not for the follow-up team, but like for any other team, basically.
Sure thing.
Any team that isn't Hunt, Tribby is better.
Fancy a coffee?
I've been wondering, how did you figure out what was happening here on Belobog, Himeko?
March was looking forward to this. Never thought.
That's understandable, Crowing. A lot of people say that. I understand where people are coming from. But she's meta at the end of the day, and I have a Herda team. And she's like one of the most universal harmonies in the game, so I'm not passing it up. I also actually like her animations. Like her follow-up and her ult. I think she does have some refreshing animations. It's nice to see like a goofy character at times. That's just like completely goofy, basically. Maybe that's my bias for One Piece Luffy showing, but I really like goofy animations. Is my game frozen? I'm gonna restart my game real quick. My only two teams are Rappa and Fei Xiao, and currently got 0 Jades for new DPSs, so I'll probably pick up the DPS after Castris. If that's the case, you'd probably get more value. Oh wait, no. I don't think Phanon is the next DPS after Castris. I think it's a dot one. So if it's dot, does anyone know, like, does dot work with vulnerability? Does anyone know this? Because if they do, Tribby would be better with dot. Like E1 Tribby in specific. Because you're giving 24% res pen, plus 30% damage vulnerability, plus what's it called? The 24% true damage as well. Which is just like, it's just significantly better than Robin. Yeah, because otherwise Robin would be better for the rumored dot DPS character that's upcoming. But like, outside of that, I think Sunday and Tribby are better in every other case scenario for the upcoming DPSs. Like, I think Phanon, best in slot, will probably also be Tribby or Sunday. And not, like, Robin. Yeah, dot works with vulnerability. Yeah, then E1 Tribby would be better. Nice. We finished all of the orange quests and all of the main quest. So now all we have are these companion missions and some other like small things. That was 100% shorter than the Rappa quest. Yeah. I think if you go E0 for E0, Robin would be better. But when we're talking about E1 for E1, Tribby would be better. Like, this would allow Dot to do significantly better against high HP bosses, which is low-key, like, one of its biggest weaknesses. Is that its damage is way too low, and usually a lot of the damage is wasted against, like, adjacent targets. And Tribby's E1 basically fixes that. Like, it applies more damage to the main boss. But yeah, I've streamed for 3 hours. I appreciate you all stopping by. But I am going to be ending the stream here. I'll probably do a little more off stream. Maybe a video if there's any semi-decent leaks. Otherwise, I don't have any interest in making a video. So, I love you all. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Have a good night.